You've landed on The Substance. I'm your host, Philip Marinello, and we're so happy you decided to join us. Whether it's your first time or your 183rd time here with us, here at The Substance, we're looking to have conversations that help us all better appreciate goodness, truth, and beauty. Previous guests include folks like poet David Gate, Reverend Joseph Yu, New York Times film critic Alyssa Wilkinson, actor-director John Carroll Lynch, and award-winning comics creator Nate Powell. This week on The Substance, we have somebody who's become a friend, somebody who has really popped off in 2025 online, as more people should. She's just a regular gal who is not real happy with what's going on. But one of the things that I really love about her platform, and we'll talk about this, is her fighting these terrible things and combating them with positivity and creativity. We have the Britt B, as many know her, Britt Giger. She made some posts early this year that really popped off, and then I realized, we talk about this on the show, realized that she was Kansas City adjacent. So my wife and I and some other friends and local folks met up with her a little while ago when she was in town, and just in addition to following each other online, started a friendship, and beyond that, hopefully working on some good, practical, like real life helpful things. So really appreciate and enjoy Britt and what she does, and it was wonderful to have her on the show. So looking forward to sharing that with you. If you have been following and listening for a while, or if you're new and you really like us, hit the follow button on the podcast app of choice. And if you would, if you're not if you're not operating a car, doing something super intensive right now, open up the app and hit that 5-star button for us. If you're on Apple and there's a chance to write a review, write a sentence or two, if you would. It's very helpful to help more people find the show, and we appreciate every single one of you who does that. So now let's get to it. Here's my conversation with Britt on existence in 2025. Britt, welcome to The Substance. It's so great sitting down with you long form.
Thanks for having me, Philip. It's a pleasure to
And it was
be
so
with
nice
you.
it was so nice to meet you in person a little while ago. And I don't remember. I wonder if I could even, I don't want to scroll back and figure all that out. I wonder what the first piece of content of yours I saw. But I feel like I started following you for a
You
little
were
while
early. Yeah.
before I realized. Well, what I was saying is, I think I followed you for, I don't know how many days or weeks, but it was a while that I followed you. I was like, oh, I like this gal. And then eventually I realized that you were Kansas City adjacent. And I was like, hey,
Yeah.
let's connect and see what we can do.
I love that. Yeah. I live in Rolla, Missouri, so a small red town, like southeast of Kansas City. But my business partners are in Kansas City, and I lived in Kansas City for 12 years. So Kansas City is very near and dear to me. I go there once a month at least. Yeah. And it's been really cool to like start reaching into that activism bubble because they have so many good ideas and so many more people.
Oh, as opposed to Raleigh, I would
As
imagine.
opposed to
Yeah.
Raleigh, yes, you guys are really with it.
Well, we're trying. Okay. I felt so silly. I don't even know if I'll keep this in, but we have so many good organizers. I am not one. I'm a big rah guy. I'm a big spread the word kind of guy, but like the actual organizing is not my forte. And also details, and also like reading details. So they're like the boots on the ground had a really important event that I looked at the flyer several times, showed up on the wrong day.
Okay, but the world is crumbling and you have children and it's hard to keep it all straight. Like I
Okay,
also
thank you.
really struggle with like it doesn't matter how meaningful it is to me. I'll be like, "Oh my god, that's the night of the town hall and I just scheduled dinner" because my brain is mush
Yeah.
because fascism and parenthood. So,
Okay, thank you, Brett.
yeah,
Only I feel like
not just you.
I've danced around that with a lot of people. I feel like I have a few people in my life who understand that. And shout out and apologies to many guests and potential and future guests on the show
Oh no.
that just things are insane right now.
Oh,
Where
I'm
I'm
so
like,
sorry.
okay, either I've double booked or like I just get overwhelmed and
Oh
we're
my
like,
gosh,
okay,
yes.
we've got too much going on. I don't have the mental load to read your book, or like we're gonna have to push it out a week or 2 weeks or a
That
month just
happens to
because
me all
like
the time.
the
Because for my
world is
part, I'm like,
insane.
have to get into community. I have to do this, and then I overbook, and then I'm like, how are people just like working? Like, how are they existing?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I feel
I
that.
mean, if I had a regular job, I do not know how I would exist. Like the
That's
people
how
who
I
like
feel too. Oh my
have
god.
to clock in for like
How
an
are these people?
8-hour deal, just a cog when like literally the world's falling apart and concentration camps are getting proposed in many of our states, things like that. Yeah, it's
No, that yeah, I nope, that's not for me. I am having enough trouble being a creative trying to work in this field of
yeah,
life.
no, it's crazy. So I've followed you since you kind of really blew up. I would love to hear kind of like your journey. It sounds like you're very well connected and you've been like on the front lines of the things that you've been involved in, and things haven't been great since 2016, but they've really ramped up this year.
Oh my
So like
gosh.
what's kind of been your on ramp to activism and organizing? And I feel like I followed you when you didn't like you had a decent following, but I feel like every time I check in on your page, I'm like, golly, she's gonna like she's a superstar here.
It's been crazy. So I was not involved in activism before this year. Um, I mean, obviously, like guess I shouldn't say that. When Missouri was voting on number 3, which was for abortion, I would try to slip in some political things into my community, and I made like little stickers, little signs, like
There you
Instagram
go.
posts, but I only had 1,200 followers. Like I was very much not an activist. Again, small red town and really outnumbered in my beliefs. And so a lot of that kind of held me back. I just didn't want to upset people. I didn't want to upset clients. And then 2025 happened and it just wasn't a choice anymore if I was going to talk about it or not. And I started the year with 1,200 followers, all the way up until February. And I posted this reel about how things are, I guess the very first one was when Missouri tried to pass a registry for every expectant mother. And I text all my friends and I was like, you guys, this is wild. Like, if you are pregnant, Missouri wants to put you on a list. And if they think that you are at risk for an abortion, they are going to help you find a family, but they couldn't define what at risk for an abortion is. And my husband, who stays at home with our kids, actually went to school for constitutional law. So he's always been my soundboard for like, this can't be legal, or like, why are we doing this? How does this work? So my bio is real. I mean, quite literally, I role play as an activist because there is no world where we imagined I was the political one or I was the outspoken one about these kinds of things. That was always going to be my husband, who studied constitutional law and wanted to be a lobbyist. And we've just completely flipped. He's at home with the kids, like keeping our lives moving forward for them so that they can still have a childhood while I try to save the world with an Instagram post. But yeah, so yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's
I feel like I followed you when you were around like you only had like 2 or 3,000, I feel like, when I
yeah,
jumped on.
I the first one I posted was about abortion with all of my friends and they collaborated with me and I was so grateful for that. And that one, I remember it got 500 likes and 30,000 views and I thought that was absolutely insane. And and now that's just not that like now it just doesn't even matter. Now it's about the message. But then the next one I put up was about how things just aren't normal, and it resonated with so many people. But before it
I
did,
think that's the one that somebody shared with me.
that one it was over 1 million views. And then the Save Act was a big one too. Anyway, it doesn't. To me, it's not about the followers or anything like that. It
Sure.
really was this journey of like I was so afraid to post. I didn't want my little town to know how I felt about politics. That was really terrifying to me. But then at the beginning of this year, it was just such a pull. I could not fathom staying silent and living in a world where I felt like my children weren't safe. And so I just started posting openly about things. And before I knew it, I found a real community of people who also feel that same way, who wanted to help, who were looking for ways to feel like we are doing something to better things. So now I
No,
have
one of
I'll have 60,000 followers by the time this podcast comes out, and I average 2 to 4 million views per month.
Boom. So, like, what you said there, I want to camp on that for a second. And just to, like, I mean, for listeners, for myself, I've kind of never really cared, for better and worse,
Yeah.
definitely both of those things. Never super duper cared what people thought of me. But, like, the insidious twisting of the values that a lot of us were given at our formative years and kind of how that plays into it makes what you
Oh,
said about like
yes.
being fearful or anxious about the people around you knowing, do you know what? I'm not really for snatching people off the street and building concentration camps. Like,
Isn't that crazy that that's
we
what I'm
shouldn't
afraid to
feel
say?
bad
Yes.
about that.
I know, but I re and it but that's a real thing, and I once I got past that fear, it was crazy to watch. I say my Instagram grow, but it's like, that's not what I care about. What I care about is watching other people feel safe to speak up or to share things or to like post even to interact with them. Like, to me, that was made me feel like I wasn't so alone in being afraid of saying things. Even if in my small town I am the outlier. Like, I
Sure.
know that out in the world, that is not the case. Like, other people care.
Well, I
So,
mean, I've even had friends from a variety of different backgrounds and walks of life communicate to me, even on Instagram. You mentioned like liking posts for a while. Instagram was like a big old snitch. They're like,
it
hey,
was.
these people in your life are liking these posts.
Look
What do you
more like
think?
yeah, and that was so I would hide my like counts for a while too because I didn't want, my small town friends to like a post and then, like, get in trouble or be talked to, and, like, when we say get in trouble, like, literally my
No,
family
yeah.
sat me down and was like, "You have to stop posting." They're like, "You have to stop," like, our friends are asking, and I was like, "That's not gonna happen." But it literally I mean, like, those interactions really did happen, and I felt almost bad having my likes exposed so that other people could see that they aligned, and now I'm like, "Go I don't care." Like
Well, because that's good too. Because like this insidious and stupid and evil and just somehow extremely powerfully multiplying nonsense like does kind of thrive when it is not challenged.
yes, it does, and now the hardest part is how do I challenge it, but not in a negative way? Because I think at first, the first part of this year, it was so much like, "Please have eyes on this. This is this horrible thing that is happening." And now it's kind of shifting it to, "Okay, I know this is horrible. How can I come up with a positive solution or a different way to give them this information so they don't immediately shut down, so that they want to get involved, so that they want to come to an event or pay attention to a flyer or whatever it would be." It's just finding new ways to get creative and so the
Well, yeah, I really love, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. One of the things initially, like when you had your small account was probably like when you it was genuinely your personal account of just you
yeah,
and your life, I would imagine,
yeah,
before you started posting this year. I loved your bio. That I thought was really funny. And every now and then I'll clock it. Sometimes I role play as an activist to keep my marriage hot and rights alive. Cause
hey,
like that's funny, but also we don't want to be pessimistic, but like realistically, if we're not pushing back, the whole like don't obey ahead of time, like if we're
yes,
not actively pushing back, it's very easy for these authoritarian, like fascist, evil systems to get put in place. And then they're I mean, even now, like if a massive title change, we all collectively did it, like, there would be a lot of undoing to do,
oh
and I
my
can't wait for it to happen, but,
god,
like, every day and
it's
week
going to
that we
happen.
don't have that, I think it will,
I
but,
really
like,
do.
every day it doesn't, like, how many people have died, and what are the ripples of US aid not existing? Like, I do
Oh my
believe we'll get it up, going again one day, but, like, what are the generational waves of, like, all that food getting destroyed and the medicine and all of that, like
god,
every day we don't get
do
engaged and
something.
active and push towards change, like there are ripples.
And, like, I already think right now, "Oh my gosh, we're moving into another school year with the same administration." Like, we didn't fix it on time, and now it's gonna impact our curriculum, it's gonna impact our public schools,
Funding, yeah, for so
our
much.
funding, and it's just like, "Oh, that we are going to see how these things that we're like, 'Oh, well, it won't happen for a while,' or 'Oh, that's not really something you need to worry about.'" well, now it's gonna play
Well,
out.
yeah,
So
vegetables are up like 30 to 40%.
it's crazy. Yeah. But then in my world, it's like, okay, how do I take that and make people care? How can I deliver that information to them in a poem, in a graphic, in a video, in whatever it's going to take for them to actually take the time to sit there and take that in and not feel overwhelmed and feel like they can do something. And that's so hard because, again, it's just constant chaos and constant battles and constant, like, what do you even shine a light on? Like, what will make the most impact? So,
When did the good always wins become foundational for that for you?
oh my gosh. That was a cutie little mental break, in April. I can't remember what was going on at that point because every week is something even more insane.
Literally, who knows?
I
Like,
literally who
I
even remembers what felt life altering at that moment, but
part
something in
of me is
April.
like, "Oh, I look forward to the documentary one day," but it's like, I don't like, so much insane things happen every day and week. Like, we're about to start September as of recording,
Oh my
like,
gosh, yeah.
8 months have almost gone by.
In 8 months and every day something more insane than the other day happens, and that's, like, it can't be great for our nervous systems.
I don't think so.
Nope. But some point in April, I started to really fear that we were not going to, like, I let my mind really spiral to, like, we are never coming out of this. Like, we are a fascist country from this point forward. We'll never fix that. And then I thought, what good does that do if I think that way? And so it originally started because I was like, you know what? Even if I feel that way, I could lie to everyone and I could tell them that I believe good always wins. And if that gives them hope, then they're going to move differently. They're going to speak differently. We will have a better chance. And so I straight up told people, I was like, listen, I'm going to lie to you until I believe it, but good always wins. And if that gives you hope, that's great. Like, I will be that person. I can do that. That's the easiest. If I already think the world's going to end and we're fucking cooked, then what does it matter if I lie and say, don't worry, good always wins? So I started doing that in April, and it took me all the way until June to believe it. And now I promise you, I fully believe it. But I had to say it every day. I had to say it every time my phone went off, it would be like a
Sure,
paralyzed
exactly, like,
email, and
oh,
I would just have to be like, "It's okay, good always wins." And of course, I didn't believe it, but once I did, once that flip happened, now it's like you couldn't convince me otherwise. I'm like, "There's no way. There's no way they win. That's hate doesn't win this." It
well, and
no,
ultimately, one way or the other, that's never
yeah.
happened.
No, it hasn't happened in the movies. Come on. Like, it's not gonna happen
I mean,
here.
even historically, looking at all these terrible regimes, like, that's not the way it's gonna always be, but and
No.
we also are, and I mean, I'm not a historian deeply, but, like, America's a very flawed place,
Yes, and we're
but
very young.
within its extremely flawed and, like, fraught history, these like, actually, I hadn't really thought about this in this way until right now, saying it out loud, but, like, the good always wins affirmation, like, you creating that and making that true in your life. It's very interesting throughout the history of America several times, like, from the beginning, there were a lot of bad things baked into our foundation,
Yeah, but we had some really
and, like, slogans and statements that were hopeful and, like, sought,
America's a free country. America's the
like,
number one
the
country.
life, liberty, and happiness, and
Yes.
all of these things that were baked into something bad. Like, the people are like, "It was bad from the beginning." Yes, but, like, these powerful things that have inspired and created people and, like, actualize themselves
Yes.
into, like, movements throughout history that have done real good and have actually, like, seismically changed things.
Yeah, I mean, I am, on the woo-woo side, but I do legitimately believe that if we could convince enough people to just start believing and start acting like good always wins, people will think differently, people will get involved differently, people will feel more brave to speak up because it's inevitable and you wanna be on the right side, and so I really do think, to what you're saying, we could firm it into existence in the same way that we've done it over and over. We've lied to ourselves over and over about different things.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing. It's so interesting because it's like it's a lie and it's true, and
Yeah.
sometimes we act in it and sometimes we don't. Like, it's just fascinating how all that works. And I mean, I would not self-select the label woo woo, but like I have always believed in the power of like words and thought. Like, maybe we'll go here now.
Well, if you
Like,
are woo-woo. I'm
see,
just
that's
kidding.
the
I think it's just science. I mean, quantum physics would believe you.
Oh, and just cosmology in general. So, like, let's talk a little. We talked a little bit when you were here in Kansas City, and you've talked about it some on your platform, maybe on other platforms that I haven't seen. Like, what was your like formative, moral, spiritual, like community background? Like, how are you formed in that way?
Yeah,
Like,
I
starting out,
I've definitely spoken about it. Super Christian. We're talking Christian waiting for marriage.
denomination,
Lutheran, but I would not consider myself like I wouldn't say locked into a denomination because in college I was in Calvary Chapel and I really enjoyed that. Um, but I'm talking like,
just like super Protestant, evangelical kind of deal.
oh yes, like purity was pushed into like was a part of my upbringing. That's what makes you worthy. And so
Sure,
I grew up very, very Christian. I didn't start deconstructing until 2017, 2018, and
it's a good
even
time to do it.
it was a good time. Yeah, I was looking around the world and I was like, this feels really weird. Um, and then not seriously until after COVID, and then like this year has just been. I joke about, or I don't joke about it. I post about it a lot. Um, because so much of my life was around the Bible and studying the Bible, and I really truly believe that potentially the prophecy of Revelations is just the prophecy of a revolution, that we are on this precipice of like a huge new religious, a more spiritual, a more scientific based words have power, thoughts have power, the energy behind them. I think that we are coming up on that, and that is what I hope Revelations is actually about instead of the whole world ending. So, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
Super
I
Christian
was raised
upbringing. Yeah.
probably similarly.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of overlap, but I mean, I never maybe it was just my lived experience, I don't know what, but, like, I never saw those sorts of things, like affirmation types things
Mhm.
as, like, what's the right word here? Pause for editing.
As, like, a
Like
woo-woo or as
well, no,
a
as, like, counterintuitive, like,
oh,
as
you mean as a
antithetical.
coping yes,
Antithetical is the word.
yes,
Like, I
okay.
never saw those things as antithetical because it's like, you can like, you have a good, hopefully, but I mean, I believe, like, a good creator starting things, getting the ball rolling, like, building, like, the framework and the rules for everything.
Yeah,
Like, we're told to pray. That's basically saying, like, "This is what I want to happen, like, please help make it happen." Like, and the mere act
and
of doing
agreed
that, whether
more,
you
go
wanna
up.
call it, like, prayer, meditation, journaling, affirmations, whatever, like, setting your mind and heart on what you want to happen objectively makes it infinitely more likely to happen. Like, that's
And
just part of
that is the
how
whole Bible.
existence is.
Yeah,
Exactly. Well, yeah. So I never really saw that as different, and I did not grow up, thankfully, in, like, I was still in fundamentalism, but it
mhm,
was not, like, hellaciously strict. Like, I
yes,
grew up going to the movies. Maybe it was because of our economic disadvantage. I grew up I spent so much time in libraries growing up, reading and watching, and I was a PBS kid, like, and none of that felt all these nut jobs now, like, it never felt like, oh, at odds with, like,
yes,
God is good and, like, has a good plan. I was like, "Okay, yeah, like,
yeah,
why
sure,
why are we pitting these 2 things against each other?" And, like,
yes.
and the heart of it in the Bible, as anybody who, like, grew up with that is, like, when Jesus was asked, like, "What's the heart of this?" Like, "Love God and love others." Like,
Oh my god, and I don't
that's
understand how we
that's
can
not
all
hard.
agree on that, and then we can't agree on anything else that's happening around the world. We're like, "Well,
How
hold
do we
on."
love God and love others?
Yeah,
Well,
how do
the
we have this
the
one
party
thing
that's claiming it the hardest, their policies, it's very curious. And I
it
feel like the good always wins posture is kind of challenging to that in, like you said, in a positive way. You're like,
yeah.
well, like, we want good. And then hopefully maybe like, have you seen in your own life or people DMing you or emailing you kind of saying, "Hey, like this helped me or somebody in my life," kind of
Oh
change
my
their mind?
gosh. Yes, so I'm horrible with my Instagram DMs because there are, no exaggeration,
Well, you blew
thousands
yeah, like you like
of
100 x'd your
good, positive messages, and so much of me, because again, this was just my personal account, and so much of me when I go into a DM, I want to truly respond to that person in the same way that I responded to you. And because I responded to you, we met in Kansas City and I met your wife and I know your kids. And like, I, like, I see so much good in every single person who DMs me. And so my DMs are overflowing, and I can't tell you the last time I got a negative message. Like,
you have to, like, schedule a time to kinda go through them
I,
and
but
give them like, lock
oh,
in with them.
yes, like, I check my Instagram DMs from my computer, and it's like a 2 to 3 hour adventure, but
Whew.
I don't get negative messages anymore. I don't get, "You're crazy for talking about this." I get, "Thank you. I found you when I was low. I believe this too. I am so grateful someone is saying that." So I have literally seen, even just saying it has changed the way people interact with me. Like, it is, I'm so lucky. They are all hopeful messages of people who feel very similar to me at different points over the last 8 months. Either they're like at this low point or they feel the hope, or it's always good. It's never, whereas at the beginning it was like, "What do you know?" And I'm just like, I
Yeah,
don't
when you were in
know.
your own little bubble of,
Yeah,
like,
and I'm
2,000
just,
people.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know what I know, but I know I should speak up. And so, yeah, Good Always Wins has just really like brought me the most incredible people who also want that to be true, which is beautiful. I'm so fortunate.
So talk to me about some of the like, we met at Boulevard with some of the
Mhm.
boots on the ground people and some other organizations, like, what are you like, what is giving you the most hope and, like, like, of the things you've done and seen, like, what like, and all this stuff is, like, the not super flashy stuff, right?
Oh
Like,
my
a lot of the
gosh.
stuff that does the most good, like, I just saw your post, like, putting up flyers for a town hall that is run by the people because so many of us who are not on, like, a MAGA algorithm, we see all these town halls where these, like, people who have no business in public service getting reamed out by people, but you're like, "No, like, we should have a town hall for ourselves to kinda decide how we want things to go."
Yes. First of all, yeah, you get it. You get it. um right now, so the biggest thing for me is that I never want my Instagram to be dictating something to people that I am not actually doing in my life. So I am very careful to document, not dictate. So if I'm asking you to do, like, if I'm saying we all need to shop local and we all need to have town halls and we all need to do this, it's because those are already the things that I am also working on. Because I don't know how I could ask that of someone else if I'm not doing it in my own life. So a lot of my current activism, gosh, my whole life is activism right now, which is crazy. It's just like completely shifted.
Well, we need it, and the people and that's, like, not in a crummy way, but, like, people who have the comfortability and privilege to do that, leading the way is the way things should be.
It really is. So I won't go into too many details, but like the thing I get paid to do, my business is currently building out. It's a huge project. Um, a community district. So in the same way that a financial district exists or like an arts and entertainment district exists, my job is a community district where we are updating buildings, renovating, seeking out local shops and putting them in there so that eventually my downtown will all be local shops. So that
Man,
alone, my
if we could
literal
if all of
job.
the major cities could do that, that would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, and so one of my big projects that I'm working on this month is like, okay, we know we're doing this. How do we map it out if other towns or cities would like to do this? Like, how can we document the process so that it could be repetitive? So that's my job. That has nothing to do with my Instagram, but even that feels political so many times throughout my day.
Yeah, community development is, like,
Yeah,
that's the foundation of all of
that
it.
is the foundation of what I want and what I preach. And then I'm also in multiple groups in my own hometown. We have one that helps ICE detainees. We have another one that is throwing the town hall. And then I have my own democracy club that I have. And so between that and my 3 children and building out a downtown district, I would say I feel that every single minute is given to something in some way, shape, or form, because even when I'm with my kids, I catch myself now thinking, "How can I be teaching empathy? How can I be teaching kindness? How can I be teaching them to challenge when someone asks, like, this is the way it's supposed to be?" Because no longer can you just say, "Okay." Like, I feel like every part of my life has become political, which is crazy, but I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean it in a way that those things have already always existed, but now I see how it truly impacts society, how it impacts my children, how it impacts my schools, how it impacts my life. Um, so yeah, I just acknowledge them outright. But
You mentioned clubs. So I've really enjoyed some
clubs,
of your content.
many
I'd love to
clubs.
talk I'd love to talk about clubs in general, but then particularly clubs for men, which you've talked about a bit recently.
Oh my gosh, yes. Um, if you haven't watched, I know you love movies, documentaries. If you haven't watched Join or Die, it's on Netflix. And Robert Putnam wrote a book called Bowling Alone. And he did this study like in the 80s, basically saying, hey, we have a problem. Our clubs are declining. And with the decline of clubs, we see the decline of democracy. And because that is because usually we are in community, we have people who are talking to each other. So even if they don't have the same political views, at least they're getting together and communicating with each other. And because we don't have as many clubs, because we have to work more, we're taught to like grind for it. We have to pick up our kids from daycare and immediately go home and cook dinner and go to bed. Like we lost our time for clubs. We lost our want for clubs. And with
Well,
that,
yeah,
we
just
realized,
the ability. It's almost as if
yeah,
the architects of the system were trying to isolate us and
it's
grind us
almost
down or
just like
something.
that, Philip. Yeah.
Weird.
That's so weird. So yes, I am huge on clubs. Um, I have I only told you the political ones. I'm in even more clubs,
Which you should be. Like,
which you should
all
be.
the positive, like, benefits of building community with people who think differently than you, like, it's so much easier probably, like,
Oh my
for a
gosh.
hobby club than in a political club, because like, you
Yes.
necessarily would not meet those people in a political
Yes.
club.
Exactly. And so my women's club is my favorite one because it's all kinds of people. Again, small red town. It is literally all across the board how people believe, but we still all get together and write our manifestations on a piece of paper and throw it in a fire and celebrate each other. And it's like in that moment we are in community, and it doesn't matter if she is a literal trumper standing across from me, because that's not what it's about in this moment. It's about she can hear me, she sees me as a real person, and I see her as a real person. And then that changes how we move throughout the world. But men
And
need
not that it's
clubs.
well,
Women are better
yeah,
at that. Yeah.
women are so much better at that, probably because, like, of how we were socialized, and there's probably a lot of
Yeah,
isms, etcetera, at the at the heart of that. Like, it sucks because I mean,
it
I
does.
am much more like I feel like I'm above average, like, in my outgoing characteristics than some. But
You
also,
are
like,
a fantastic communicator is what it is. Like you communicate your feelings, you communicate point, you are not scared to have those conversations, where a lot of men shut off if it's too real or too vulnerable because they've been taught to.
well, thank you, but I mean, I was gonna say, so even with that, I'm 35, and I moved away from the town I grew up in. And, like, I don't have a crazy huge physical community. Like, I know a lot of people. I have a
Yeah,
lot of people that I could call and text, and I'm more likely to call or text somebody and reach out than
yeah.
probably many folks. But also, like, I don't have like, I'm not rolling, like, 10 or 15
You and
deep
your
here
10
in
dudes
Kansas
aren't.
City right now. That's not
Yeah,
where I am right now because, like, I have 2 little kids and a job and a marriage and a podcast and my own hobbies and so like, I do have
yes,
because on your club post, I was like, Rainy Day Books here in Kansas City. Shout out to them. We've had one of their booksellers on before. We may have him on again sometime. Like, Rainy Day Books and Screenland Armor are probably where, like, the most of my in-person community is. Like, my favorite bookstore and
yes.
my favorite movie theater. But it's also not like I'm not in college anymore, and we're not, like, hanging out
I
every day.
know,
Like, you
and
don't
so
see
it's
those
hard, like,
people 2 or
How
3
do you
times a
really
week.
Yeah, how do you get other people to be there when you can be there and so that you can have that experience? And it's not easy. It takes a lot of work. And I
Truly.
also recognize that if I'm out at doing a club activity, my husband's at home with the kids.
Yeah,
And the
you're
same
taking turns.
yeah, like it's like you have to take turns because childcare is insane. Like it would be insane to hire a babysitter so we could both go to a club. Like would be and so it's I recognize that it is not easy, but if we can at least start moving toward if we can identify the problem, that's step 1, and I think the problem is we need to be in community, and that means if it's not at a town hall, then at a club or in a like, we just have to find ways to be in community. It cannot just be digital. It has to be our real community that we are by.
What are some of the things that you would encourage listeners, like, practically, like, around the US? Like, we have listeners from all over the US, like, book clubs, like, what would be the step? Just, like, Google
Oh,
clubs near me?
great question. I guess you could just Google clubs near me. You know, I've only started clubs. I've never looked how to join one.
Okay, there you go.
How crazy is that? I guess that's not
How
true.
would
I
you, what would be your suggestions for somebody who's like, "You know what? The thing that I like, I'll get a thing going on my own. Like, I'm not aware of a XYZ hobby that I love, having a club, like, I wanna get one started." What would you say to them?
yes, I'll take Cocktail Club. That's one that we started on our own.
Ooh,
Uh,
that's fun.
yes, so Cocktail Club is my women's club is our women's club. I shouldn't speak of it possessively. So that one we started, we were all standing at a chamber event. And one of my friends who I'd known in Kansas City, we both live in Rolla now, was like, I just don't have a ton of female friends. I was like, well, like there's tons of women here. Let's just meet them. And she was like, this doesn't work. And I was like, well, let's just move it to a more comfortable space and just see who shows up. And so it really just started with, okay, here are business leaders in our community. I'm going to invite these women that I know from a chamber event. And I'm just going to say, hey, we'd like to just have a more genuine connection with you. Come for cocktail night. And we're just going to, our first one, we just did painting. Like we literally bought paint, invited women over. None of us knew each other in this like total friend capacity. It was just a network, but we had identified people from being in the chamber. And we all just got together and formed this really genuine connection. And then when people saw those photos online, they said, well, I want to go to that next. And it spread to our friends that we other know, and other people were texting us. And before we knew it, our first group was like 6 women. And now we have 30 women who regularly rotate. And we, like for us, it's just about the club. It's not about being a book club. It's not about being a run club. It's not about being a movie club. We rotate out those activities so that there's always something fresh and new, and we have new ideas coming to the table. We've done, I can't even think. We did backyard picnic night. We've done rock painting. That was a one that I threw last night before we did rock painting, and then we went out and hung town posters all over.
Nice.
Um, so for me, it really is just like if you just put it out there that you want to be in community with someone, it does not matter what you're asking them to do. There are people who also want that. And as soon as you just start making those moves, start taking those steps to meet with people, it will organically grow because we cannot be the only people who are craving this like real conversation about what's happening or just like community or partnership or friendship.
No,
Other
I think
people
all
need
of the stats in every
yeah.
study I've ever seen, I mean, women tend to do better on average, but I don't think many people are like, "You know what's amazing? Like my really tight." So, like, if you're out of college, like college is great because you have no
Yes,
kids, you're probably not married,
not as
and
many
like
responsibilities,
yeah, you
and
can do whatever you want at all hours.
there's
But
people
like
and opportunity everywhere. Whereas when you're adult, you're like in your little nooks. You're like, "Nope, nope, go to work, go home." And
yeah,
you have to find a third space. You have to find that time and opportunity, and then if you just put it out there, you will find it. But
and you need to create it like purposefully, like the
yes.
just the same way with the affirmations.
Yes. Yes, I agree. So,
So those 30 some women who get together regularly, like how many of them, I mean, some of them may listen, I don't know, we can cut this out if you
yeah.
want. Like how many of those are you like are you like really close with several of those people now like
Oh,
in
yeah,
your life?
over the last year, I would say I consider, like, 8 of them my closest friends.
That's incredible.
Um, and I still have, my friend group from before, but it really did become like we did not enter this being friends. We just entered this as we were all women who were, you know, leaders in the community for the different various places. Like most of us are business owners, some people work for different organizations, and we were just, acquaintances, and we decided to take that a step further and take the time to kind of get to know each other and create a space and an opportunity to have real genuine connection. And because we did, you know, love I hold their babies. I like now
That's the
it's just like
best.
so much more meaningful. And it just keeps growing because women come to us like when they're getting divorced and they're like, I see you guys have all these friends. Can I join your club? And we're like, absolutely. I will say our one rule for our women's club is you cannot talk shit on another woman, and that includes yourself.
Nice.
Yeah. So it is it's just we that is our only rule that we have. But because we have that rule, we just always want, regardless of political belief or where they may be at in life, we never want to be caught saying something about someone who eventually would like to sit at us with the table. And so we don't do it, and that's been life changing. And now I like say that, and now that's how I want my entire life to be. You do not talk shit about another woman. So
I might steal that if I see.
yeah.
I would love just similarly to the way I handle myself professionally. I don't want to be like the guy who's responsible for everything, but I would be a great like number two guy. Like if I could find another dude to be like, let's start some clubs, I'd be like, yeah, I'll get the word out.
Yeah.
I'll help get things going, but like I don't want to have to do it all myself.
Oh, I totally get that. I always say if anyone wants to start a cult, I'm not a cult leader, but I'm a great number two.
That's hilarious. Well, see, yeah, that's why I feel like we clicked so well.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. There was something you said that I thought was really good, and I wanted to ask you more about it, but now I am trying to recall it.
So sorry. I'm just so
No,
wise
that's
with words. It's hard to pick. It's hard to do.
um,
Let me tell you all the weird things I've been doing.
do it.
Let's see. This week, what day is it? Friday. This week I spent money and made art to get people in community. So I bought coffee cup holders that have enjoy your day and good always wins on them, and I'm going to give them to different coffee shops when they come in.
Nice.
I bought bookmarks, which are insanely cheap, to donate to the library because I thought that was a safe space where I could help identify people and direct them in the right spot. You saw the town hall flyers. We are the group that is hosting the town hall are again just a group of older women who do not have a marketing budget. And I said, that's so fine. And so I sent an email to my group and I said, use your work printers to print as many posters as you can. And they all met me at our local pub and we all brought our staple guns and we went around town and put them everywhere. Um, Gosh. And then there's other crazy things I can't admit to being the person who did. That's mostly public property. But those are just my examples of like the only thing saving me and the only thing keeping me sane right now is being in community with women, trying to get creative with how to do it and trying to remain positive through all of it.
I think the clubs are key. This isn't exactly what
Yeah.
I might just give up on the thing that I lost, but
Yeah.
one very positive thing I experienced, my wife experienced because we took turns, and I've heard from a lot of my peers and friends and acquaintances like locally and around the country was that the the organized protests that happened for about a month to a month and a half, there was like every weekend or every other weekend
Yeah.
protests. Those were really invigorating seeing that we weren't alone, but
Mhm.
those also don't build community. Like that would be a great pipeline to
Yes.
those local clubs because
Oh
it's
my
great
god.
going. Because I remember explicitly the first like big organized protest I went to here. I was like, this is amazing. There's some people I recognize from various walks of life, which is cool. I was like,
Yeah.
I thought these people were cool, but I was also so encouraged. Like, there's a lot of old white people here
Oh
who
my
like
god.
aren't as bad as I thought.
Yes. That's how, I mean, honestly, how I got plugged into a lot of the or how I felt comfortable asking to join some clubs that are run by the older white women in my community. But I was shocked at our largest protest we had. We We had 500 people there, and I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to remember, small red town, and we had 500 people out, and most of them were older white people. It
I
was
love that.
wild to see.
He
But
is not popular. He's just a
no, he's
liar.
not. Oh, no, he's not popular at all, but
He's
but
got a
it's
cult.
so
He's not actually popular. He just has somehow he's dumb lucked into a crazy powerful cult. I don't know how.
oh
It's
my
very
gosh,
stupid and he's not actually popular.
I absolutely agree, but when we are only on our phones getting notifications, it feels so isolating, and then it's
Well,
like,
because so many people are
"Wait a
not standing
minute."
up. So
Yeah,
many people are not standing up. And so people, it's easy to feel like as an onlooker, oh, well, he must have so much support because nobody's stopping him
must
from doing
be,
any of these
right?
things.
And then you go to a protest and you're like, "Wait a damn minute." Like, there's
Yeah.
no
There's
way.
no way
There's no way
he
this
got
many people are
zero. Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have fun. Anyway,
Yeah. um,
what else? What are you doing? How can I convince you to join a club? What club would you do movie club?
sure. I mean, that would be the easiest one for me to get the ball rolling on. Like, I go to many book clubs. So I've mentioned them before. Rainy Day Books here in Kansas City, which is what I think of as like the the premier or the legacy, like independent local bookstore. There's a lot of incredible ones, and I patronize as many of them as I can. I don't only give my money to Rainy Day Books, but they're kind of like the OG here in town. They've
Yes.
got like several book clubs that I really love.
Oh,
I mean, they have a couple that I like, but they have several. They have like romance book club, they have sci-fi book club, they have horror book
yes.
club. The one that I have gone to the most, they have uh basically adaptation book club, which is a twofer, and that they partnered with a movie theater. They show the movie and they read the book, and they have a movie discussion and a book discussion, and that one is a lot of fun for someone like me.
That's so perfect for
So I
you.
do the adaptation one and the horror one the most.
Oh my gosh, I love that. My husband and his friend Rob, I actually tagged him under your comment because I
Nice. I
you would love
followed
Rob.
him.
You guys would be such fast friends. But my husband and Rob really want to do like a movie club where you like do popcorn and you set up little stadium seating in some little weird place and you watch the weirdest little indie films together. And they just wanna bring like, not necessarily going to a big movie theater, but, like, creating their own little movie theater experience for people to come, and then they could, like, talk about it after and see if they liked it and whatnot, and to them, they're like they think it's a good stepping stone for men who don't like to have vulnerable conversations out the
Yeah.
gate, but we could find something that they all like and then, like, see what it grows into, so
Yeah, I've toyed with the idea specifically around libraries, maybe doing something like that or marketing it that way.
mhm.
Previous guest, I think probably I would imagine release wise, the guy we just had on the episode before this, Greg D, he's the one of the MCs and the hosts for every Friday night at Screenland. They play a horror movie almost or a genre movie, but it's typically horror. It's called Friday Night Frights, and that
Ugh,
is kind of I don't go to that every week
but that's
because
almost a
Friday
club
nights are for family.
atmosphere.
That's what I'm saying. So like that's kind of a passive. Like I know a lot of those people's names, and when I see them around town, I'm like, oh hey, and like we
Yeah.
chat. So like but I don't know those people's lives intimately. Like I don't know their families or things like that.
You gotta go the
Um,
extra step and talk to him.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so
yeah. Oh, I
sorry.
mean, we do talk some, but like I
Yeah.
like the idea of like the club. And I mean, even for men, like as a man who doesn't like, how do you guys facilitate? Like, what's the agenda? Like, how do you get to know those women deeply?
I'll tell you. We play a game. Okay, this was the fastest way, and not that you should ever have to rush a relationship. We actually started playing a game called Delulu, and I think this is what I truly believe this is why our club, like, popped off and has become
Okay, here's the
so
secret sauce.
here's the secret sauce. We started playing a game called Delulu because I told you when we first started, I had identified all these women out of the chambers, out of our chambers. So the idea was like, oh, they really care about their careers. So we started playing a game called Delulu where like I would say, "Oh, I just got a big work promotion." And I say it as it's already happened and I cheers my cocktail and then they would say, "To Britt getting a big work promotion." And we'd cheers and we'd take a drink and then we'd move on to the next person and they would tell us what they want in life, but they say it as if it already happened. But what started happening was everyone was happy in their careers. So they started sharing things like, we've been trying to get pregnant for 6 months and it's not working. And we'd be like, okay, to so I can't say the name, but to so and
Sure.
so having a baby. And then it would be like, I'm really trying to sell my like I'm gonna find my dream property. And we'd be like, to finding your dream property. And before we knew it, we knew this woman, like we knew each other's deepest, darkest secrets or their wants or like what it is they really truly wanted in life. And then we could have real conversations. And it just like grew into this thing, or it wasn't there's no pressure to share more, but if you really want it, we can talk about it. And then we'd end up having conversations with each other and be like, you know what? I had a really hard time conceiving and this worked for me, or I love this doctor. And so instead of becoming this like very surface level chamber interaction, it became something that was like powerful. So where we were having real conversations with each other, we were following up on, hey, did you ever get that promotion? Hey, how did that work out? Like, what are you feeling? What do you want to be doing with your life? Where do you see it in 5 years? And it was really cool to see. And so we still play Delulu. It's like what we do at the end of every time we get together. And it doesn't matter if it's an alcohol drink or not. We just share like, oh, to one of my friends was like a fitness influencer. At the beginning of the year, she didn't have any followers, and she's like to 10,000 followers, and we did it every time until she hit 10,000 followers,
That's
and she
awesome.
did. Yeah,
Well, and I feel like that could work, like, just very practically, I feel like that could work for men, like, that is essentially a fun
call it a drinking
and
game.
that is like a fun and dressed up way of, like, goal sharing, basically,
Yes, yes, but you
and
just oh, but we're gonna take a drink after
I
we do.
like that a lot. Yeah, actually, I've only gone no, I've gone a few times, actually. There are cigar clubs that I'm not, like, a
Mm,
card-carrying member, but I go to those semi-regularly because people invite me.
well, if
Um,
I have a membership to a cigar club.
yeah, do you have one in Rolla? Nice.
St. James, one of the best Leatherwood cigars. If you're listening, 10 out of 10 recommend. My favorite cigar club of all time.
Okay, yeah, we had one, here in KC open up, during COVID, just called The Shop that I love, that I go to semi-regularly, and actually there are people whenever I go in there, I usually recognize several people, so that is cool. Like, third that's like a true third space, not like I mean,
Yes, it
coffee
is.
shops, you sometimes will run into people who you know from other things, but, like, a cigar lounge is like, people come here
That's
because
a true
this
third
is a place
space.
that they like.
Yes, and my family and I are at our local pub all the time. I always take my kids, and we think of it as a third space, and we
Nice.
have other families meet us there because we're just trying to be more in community. Because
I
again,
love
I don't wanna
that.
dictate, I wanna document, I want it to be real to my life. I don't want to be fake. I don't want to influence in, like, this weird pretend way.
Sure. Well, before we get to shout outs, I mean, looking at your feed, you can't not see the constant matriarchy content. And give us the
Woo!
pitch
The
for men
pitch.
and women who are open to it. Give us the
Oh my
pitch.
gosh, this isn't working. We need something different. I think the biggest thing I want people to know with matriarchy is that it does not mean women leading. It just means we center caring for each other, which is right now we center capitalism. And even if you're like, that's not true, we really, it is. It's all capitalism. It is all how do we make more money? How do we, because that's just the way it's been programmed.
To
And
the
it,
nth degree, to like where
to the,
because
to
you have so
the
many well-meaning people in a lot of the circles I grew up in where I'm like, yeah, work hard and
and
have
work
enjoy your
hard.
life. But like when you have people, if everybody with a finite planet with finite resources, if their prime driving directive is get as much like because when you extract wealth, you're extracting it from either people or like
Yes,
natural
or
resources.
the earth, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there are limits. So
Philip, so
like
hot. Yes, you
I
get
read a
it.
thing the other day where it was basically, I think it was both like theoretical but also actual, where it's like when people are so poor, like so many people in the richest freaking country in the world, so many
Mhm.
people are so poor, the thing that gets extracted from them is basically like health and welfare.
It
Like you're working
yes,
so hard that like you're getting ulcers, you're getting sick, and you have terrible healthcare. Like it's
because you can't afford
literally draining.
you can't afford to move up the ladder because you don't have the same opportunities, like,
Or
it's
if you want to move up the ladder, what you have to do is like become kind of a terrible person.
yes, and that's patriarchy to me. Not I mean, like, that's just
Yes.
we let capitalism grow so much. It's like a taking society, whereas matriarchy is the opposite of that. Matriarchy is how do we care for this? And a lot of people's argument is like, how would you pay for it? I'm not worried about that. I'm gonna tax the shit out of the rich, is what I would recommend. But it like just even that question alone is a patriarchy question. Matriarchy centers like this is what we need. This is how we care for our earth. This is how we care for our children. This is how we care for our
Yeah, how
relationships.
could you not pay for it? Like all the crap we're
They
paying
figure out,
for
yeah.
that is destructive and harmful, or it's like,
Oh
uh,
my,
pump the brakes on some of those
it would
things.
probably be cheaper. Like I'm all of it. I can't. I'll sound too crazy, Philip. But it's like money's made up anyway. You know what I mean? Like it
That
already
is,
exists,
it's
and the
not
money
untrue. And
is.
I just saw your story about like your local law enforcement. Like we
Oh,
spend so
that was
much
my
money
whole day.
harming
Yes.
people. Where it's like, well,
Yes.
what if we didn't spend money harming people?
Yes. Yeah, my whole morning has just been again what I preach. Our county holds ICE detainees, or did until today.
Oh,
Um, held ICE detainees. We started this nonprofit organization so that we could help make sure that they were able to make phone calls, because when you get detained in ICE, you don't have money to call your lawyer, and they do not take you to the city you were detained in. They take you to my small town, like Chicago and St. Louis. You are drugged down to Rolla, Missouri. And so we started this nonprofit. We were helping them, and the storyline the entire time was, we're getting paid so much money, this is worth it. And we were like, this is horrible, are you sure? And they're like, it's worth it. And we are like, we really oppose this, but at least we'll help the detainees. At least we can help them in our community if we know where they are. So today they just said, we can't afford to do this anymore, but they haven't released what the numbers are. Whereas Greene County, which is another county next to us that also has ICE detainees, released a letter that said they were paying $25,000 a day in taxpayer money. And if that
jeez.
is true for our county, that would be insane. So we do not know what it was costing our county to hold these detainees, but it's
Yet?
interesting that yet, but we will.
Here's to finding out.
Yet we will. Yeah. Oh, I emailed my paper first thing this morning with everything I had. Um, but it's just an example of, it's like it's not because they had a change of heart. It's that the capitalism isn't working anymore. And that's crazy in itself. Like, it's ju they didn't decide, "Well, this was wrong, what we were doing the whole time." They said, "We actually are afraid to tell you how much this is costing."
Yeah, depriving people of their rights. And like it was sold in the dumbest way. And I mean, with love. It's not that all these people are raging idiots, but it's
No.
like we're scared. And because capitalism has gone as far as it is, we're all just trying to make it. And we're told, oh, these people are bad. That's like the oldest friggin'
Yeah.
trick in the book. That's not even
Um,
clever. It's like, these people are the reason for your problems and are taking resources from you. And if we treat them horribly, it's fine because they're your enemy. And it's like, wait, like the people you're like taking from Home Depot and like restaurants, those are the enemy? Like, or
also, where's the
the
critical
people you're
thinking?
kidnapping at their actual like check-in meetings with their attorney, like they are doing things the right way.
At a
Those are the
Dora
bad
the
people.
Explorer concert. They went to a Dora the Explorer concert and arrested parents. That
Okay,
is
we're a little bit. Are
that's
you on the new season of South Park?
Oh, of course. Yes. It's the only thing that brings me joy.
It's really
It's so good.
great.
That's art. That is resistance art. That is
It's honestly some of the best right now, and it's been stale. Like it
oh
was cutting edge. The last several years have been Dudsville.
oh my god, and that
They
passion and
are
fire,
on one right
they
now.
are it is so good. It brings me so much joy. That is what I mean when I'm like, we have to find a way to be more like, I don't mean that we have to pretend everything is fine. I do not mean that at all. But when we start moving in a creative way and we start making art and speaking up that way, like it just becomes undeniable.
And I love that it's on Paramount. That's the great, and
Oh,
they can't stop it. They just locked it
icing
in
on the cake. Oh,
for
it's so good.
hundreds of millions of dollars. They just locked it in, and
It's so
I
good.
do love that so much.
Yeah. Wow. This was lovely. You
Any
wanna shout
final
some
thoughts before shout outs?
Oh my gosh. Please shop local. Please
Yes.
join your startup club. I know, like, I get it. You have like, I hope people know there are so many nights where I'm just so tired and I just wanna go home and take an edible and go to bed, and I don't want to have a club meeting or
And
interact with
work on shopping local.
or
Like
work on, like, getting
the guilt, not everybody can do that entirely, and that's fine. But work
Yeah,
on it. Like the Target crap, like the choices we make do actually affect things. So just try to be purposeful.
absolutely. Even
Sometimes Amazon and Walmart, you can't not
Oh
just
my
for
gosh.
budget, whatever. Like don't feel guilt, but
Yeah,
try to.
please feel guilty, but, like and again, I'm in a small town, like, Walmart's the only place for a lot of people. Like, I have to really work to not touch those things anymore. But there are also like my one of my good mother friends was just like, "Oh, but where would I get school supplies?" And I was like, "Well, if you don't skip this year, 5 years from now there will be no other option. Like that will be the only option that because capitalism." So,
Yeah.
oh well, shop local, get in community. Those are your two big ones. If you at any point believed prayer worked or you believe in manifestation or whatever it is, I really if more people would just say good always wins. I hear how crazy it sounds, but it really does shift your mindset and it makes you feel a little more hopeful and you start moving differently. You just it doesn't feel as heavy. It feels like, okay, we are going to get through this. How do I get us to that point?
And actually, like it's true. Like if you need to quote unquote lie to yourself
Yeah.
until you believe it, fine. But like it's actually true.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, it
true.
is actually true. Like we will act good will actually win this. It's going to happen. Yeah.
Um, love it. Love it. Love
Yeah.
it. Substance shout outs. What have you been watching, reading, listening to? What have you been enjoying that you want to
Um,
recommend that listeners check out when they have a moment?
I'm reading The Story of Bee right now by Daniel Quinn. It I think will go down as one of my favorite books of all time. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Love that.
It's about a priest who his job is to go and when people accuse someone of being the Antichrist, he goes to see if they really are. And in very beginning of the book, he's like, it's never the Hitlers or the Stalins. They are too evil. It is always something um, different. It's something a little
Huh.
less obvious than that, and as you read the book, it will just, like, break your brain a little bit. Really, really, truly enjoy it. Highly recommend. And oh, I told you The Phoenician Scheme.
I still need to catch that.
You have to watch it. It is so well done. The new Wes Anderson film, it is beautiful, and I love it. Trying to think of what else. The Rebellion of Care. That's a good, little poetry book
Yes.
that by David that I'm have not started. He's sending it to me now, and so I'm really excited to start that one too.
And listeners, if you're a fan of David and you haven't listened to our episode with him, that was such a
Oh my
wonderful conversation.
Oh, did you really? I have to go back and listen to that too. He's a gem.
And he'll be back on to talk about a very, very fun movie later on this year. We're doing In Bruges down the line.
Oh,
Have you
oh
ever?
my
Do you know what that is?
yes, my husband loves.
It is dark and hilarious and wonderful.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, that's so fun. David really wants is like Kansas City's one of his bucket list stops for a book tour. So
I mean,
rainy
rainy
day
day could
books,
make
come
that
on.
happen
Yeah.
easy, easy, easy at Unity Temple. Like done.
Oh, it would be so fun. But
I'll tell Justin to have somebody reach out to him.
that'd be sweet. Anything you want to shout out? I would love to
I
come
mean,
to
we
your
just mentioned it. Like, if you were ever averse to it and never checked it out, this season of South Park is killer. It's
Oh,
really, really good.
it's so funny. You'll literally sit there with your mouth hanging open like, I can't believe this is on TV. I can't
And
believe this is
true
on
resistance art. Like,
Oh,
I wonder if, like, it's not just like raging against the crummy regime we have right now. It's
no.
genuinely smart and very funny. And I wonder if it ends up like winning a lot of awards
Ah,
that
can
make
you
this
imagine?
guy who's obsessed with like prestige anyway even more. I think that would be hilarious.
Oh, icing on the cake. I would love it to see that.
And it's crushing box offices right now. I know not everybody's a horror person, but the new movie Weapons is wonderful. Zach Kreger a couple years ago came out with Barbarian. That's
Mhm.
fantastic. If you listening to this when it airs, it's still on Netflix. It might go somewhere else, but Barbarian was great, and Weapons is just nuts. It's
Dang.
fun. It's scary. It's funny. It's creepy. My favorite thing, honestly, is that relatively it was pretty unpredictable. Like once it got to a certain point, sure, but like when you start the movie, you do not know where it's going if you go into it blind.
I
And
love that.
like and that's kind of how he wrote it. Like he talks about his process like when people interview him, they're like, well, "What about this and that?" He goes, "Literally like I started with the premise of the beginning where like all the kids but one in this classroom go missing and what happens? Like, let's go
Oh,
from there. That's a scary premise." And he's like, "I didn't know what the answer was until I was like halfway through the script, until I was on page like 60. I didn't know what it was."
oh
And you're
my
like, "That's
gosh.
great."
My
So
husband's been begging me to be brave and go watch it because I am not a horror film, but he's like, It's so good,
it's
please."
really fun. There's a lot of laughs and like I don't want to spoil anything, but the triumphant catharsis at the end where good in fact does
Oh, good
eventually
always
win,
wins.
sort of. Like
Kind
that's
of.
but the big moment of triumph at the end, people were hooting and hollering in a way that I don't see often in a theater. Even
Oh,
when
isn't that fun? That's
comeuppance
community.
happens. Yeah, it was
Yes.
I love that so much. But yeah,
Oh
check
my
out
gosh.
Weapons. Unfortunately, it'll probably be on digital in like 2 days. So
Oh, they're like, "It's
see it
actually
in
out
the
right now."
theater if you can, or get some friends over. Like movies like that are so fun to watch with a group of people so you can see
Yeah.
everybody's reaction.
Oh, that's the best. And if you, haven't taken the fam to Bad Guys 2, Philip, 12 out of 10 recommend.
I that is on my I still haven't seen the first one.
What? Oh my gosh, go home and watch it right now. It's pretty
I
fun.
think I have it. I'll check that out. Oh, also, I don't know if we mentioned this before. K-pop Demon Hunters is a lot of fun. We might cover that on the show.
Oh
I'm
my
seeing
gosh,
that
my
in the
niece
theater this
just told me
weekend with
about
the
that.
family. Sing along.
Yes! My niece was, like, trying to explain it to me, and I was like, "No, this is real but you know this is real life." And she's like, "No, no, no, they, like, soak in the energy and it makes them more evil." And I was like, "What are you watching?" I
It's
absolutely love
super
it.
fun.
Oh,
And
I've seen so many clips. I'm so excited.
it's a really wonderful formula that I'm baffled doesn't happen more. They wrote a bunch of great like, it's an original animated premise with really
Mhm.
good songs. That's it. That's what Disney used to, like, crib from, like, fairy tales, but then they did this. They wrote great songs or with their original movies, write fun songs and come up with a fun story. That's it.
Yeah, and the fun story they chose is these are evil people who soak in negative energy, and then the 3 women have to save it.
There you
So
go. It's so
with
good.
good energy.
And just the ma I mean, I think we might actually cover it on the show one day, maybe as a bonus episode, but, like, I have had a few people because it's so popular, people in all circles are talking. I had somebody literally tell me explicitly, like, "Oh, I just loved how it wasn't like a message movie or whatever," and I was like, "Did you watch
What?
it?" Like,
What? There's
it
always a
was
me I don't wanna watch a movie without a message.
it was
Like,
very, like and I guess you can just watch it that way, but, like, how about, like, re repression of things that we don't feel good about is not the way. I feel like was very, very, very clear. Like, they write many songs about it.
don't even get me started on people who watch Wicked and don't get the message.
Thanks.
Like, yeah.
Well, Britt, where obviously people start clubs. What would you I'll put your account in. I'm sure everybody's already following you. Where you want to give people any marching orders at the end here?
Oh my gosh.
Donate to your local something, follow something. Like, are boots on the ground all over the place, or is that just here in the Midwest?
Boots on the Ground has I'm not well, I guess I only know the Kansas City organization, but I love Boots on the Ground KC. I love it. There's an organization called Working Families.
Yes.
I just met with them in Kansas City last weekend, but they are all over the nation. And Working Families tries to identify leaders in communities who will help them, as well as candidates who actually work for families, not for billionaires. And if you're not familiar with them, some of their candidates include Mamdani and George Ossoff and Sharice Davis, things like that. Like they are. doing killer work. So if you're not sure where to start, maybe working families
I'll put a
or
link in for working families. That sounds great. Like I shut this out. I didn't realize it because our recording schedule is so weird. I read Bernie's Our Revolution earlier this year and was
yeah,
great. And like their model is so simple, but it sounds like I don't know if it's directly connected, but their model of prioritizing these things that are best for everybody and then developing candidates because like we see a lot of the people on the far right, they don't get these jobs because they're competent. Like people
no,
pay for them to push these bad policies that only help the ultra wealthy. So
which
having
is a
some sort of
capitalist.
organization that it's like who is idealistic and cares and has the bandwidth and the personality to do this, let's fund those types of candidates. So I love
Yes,
that.
because they work for us and they really do impact our life. So
That's a good one. I'll put that in the show notes.
I would love that. But yeah, that's
Well,
all I
thanks
have
for
for you.
giving me your time. You're a busy lady.
Well, I just adore you and your wife, and it was such a pleasure to meet you. And I can't wait to see what we do to
Same.
help save the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
No pressure, but
Hey, good will ultimately win.
it will. That's a perfect note to end on.
So there you have it. That was my conversation with Britt. Really wonderful conversation. Hope you guys were encouraged, inspired. Maybe follow some of these people and get into real community. Join clubs. Get together with your neighbors. Write letters. Write emails to your representatives. Like get involved. I really do believe when we were talking, I really don't think he is that popular. He's very pushy. And if nobody pushes back or speaks up, he'll continue to push. And there are people who may be less wicked and evil and dumb who are just kind of waiting for folks to stand up. So be those people who stand up. Start clubs, get involved, make your voices heard, and let's make good always winning a thing that happens sooner rather than later. If you want to send us your feedback on the show, you can do that. You can send us an email or a voice note or something. You can email that to thesubstancepod@gmail.com. If you want to let us know what you thought about this show, have suggestions for future shows, that's where you can send that. The very best way to support the show is to share it, to tell your friends, share it on your various socials, share it on your Instagram, Blue Sky, Discord, TikTok. If somebody's on TikTok, I'm not on that. You want to start telling people about the substance. If you want to clip parts of the show, uh, do that. That would be awesome. That's always the best way to support the show. But if you have a couple of bucks and you want to help us that way, you can do that over on Cash App at $ the Substance Pod. Put 1, 2, 5, 10 bucks, whatever, in the tip jar. That's always helpful. We're coming up on the new year sooner than later, so gonna have to have some of those website costs. And I am working on a couple of things with my very talented graphic designer wife for some local guerrilla marketing around some of our specific episodes. So any support, yeah, in that way is very helpful. Stay tuned. Next week, we should either have a fresh substantive cinema or we can do that replay of Opagador de Promesas that I talked about previously that we just weren't able to publish. So, one way or the other, we're going to have a substantive cinema episode next week. So, you can look forward to that. And until then, I've been your host, Philip Marinello, saying thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you guys. And we will see you next time on The Substance.